Jonathan, he doesn't have a lot of interests, but he loves to watch Veggie Tales. He could stay for hours driving down the road just looking out the window. And he loves walking. He gives the best hugs. He's big into unconditional love. And I can have the most miserable day ever, and I get one of his smiles, the day's great. He was following right around with his twin brother Chris until about the age of 2, and then we started to see that his language wasn't developing as well as his brother's. So we went in and got him assessed, and then we were given the news. The doctor said, "You're going to want to sit down for this. Whatever plans you had for your son, they're at an end. You are going to spend the rest of your life taking care of his needs." As time went on, my wife was diagnosed with cancer. It was already stage 4 breast cancer. And she went through a number of chemotherapies, and he sensed that, and he became more and more violent. She wasn't able to help with him as much. And especially as it got to the end, I was the caretaker to both of them at the same time. My wife passes away. We're supposed to be in a time of grief. It was just me and my 2 other children. And they were my rocks, my real heroes. And figuring out some path forward, that's when he started hitting himself and hit himself over 2,700 times in just a few hours. When he attacked me, we both ended up in the ER, and it was clear it would not be safe for them to return him home. John had to spend 7 days in the ER before getting to this other facility because there were patients that were ready to go, but they had no place to go downstream.
Most people will need to participate in what we call a continuum of care, an inpatient hospitalization. From there, folks that have serious mental illness will often need a step-down facility. It's the case pretty much all over the place that we have no place to put them.
When I applied for Kendi Krieger's neurobehavioral unit, they again had only 16 beds, and it took 15 months for Jonathan to get a slot there. But when he arrived there had been 2 patients who had been there for a combined total of more than 2 years, longer than they had to be because they had no place to go. And by the way, the hospital cost $150,000 a month. So you take those 2 patients, 3.6 million up in smoke. Now multiply that many instances throughout the country.
There's something that we call ED boarding, emergency department boarding, that occurs very commonly for people with serious mental illness who are in crisis and who need a hospital bed. Why does that happen? IMD exclusion, which is a Medicaid rule that says that a facility that has more than 16 beds for the purposes of treatment of people with mental health conditions cannot get Medicaid reimbursement. That leads hospitals to reduce their beds, lift the IMD exclusion, so that hospitals, mental health facilities, state hospitals can get reimbursed for the care that they provide.
Get rid of the IMD exclusion. We should at least streamline it. Today, he is living in a residential placement. He has 24/7 monitoring. I would prefer to have him at home, but the reality is I cannot stay awake 24 hours a day.
Jonathan has a dedicated staff that works with him to make sure that he gets all the medical needs to feeding him, to clothing him, taking care of him, and of course, integrating him into the community.
If there isn't a consistency that continues along with him and a behavioral plan is not followed, he can go right back where he was before, being violent again, hurting himself and others.
When we don't provide those services, a lot of these folks will end up in jails. They will end up on the streets homeless. They will die far younger than others that don't have these conditions.
Unless it touches your life, you don't really know that this is going on. So I think that that's what we need to do. We need to introduce them, people on Capitol Hill, to the very real people who are affected by this. There have to be tangible, measurable standards set for federal disabilities programs, each and every one.
It's being human, doing the humanly possible thing for people like Jonathan and like every other person that does make a difference to their families.
Americans are a generous people, they're a caring people, and it's time that we take care of some of our most vulnerable.
Are we promoting the dignity of those with disabilities and promoting their independence, helping them live more fulfilling lives? That's the measurement. The greatest joy that we can get out of life is giving to and helping others.